Hi, my name is April and I'm going to start with a brief summary on the Analects of Confucius. The Analects include 20 books of questions and answers compiled by Confucius's disciples and students. They are divided into short chapters that explore themes of social philosophy, political philosophy, education, as well as what it takes to be a good person. In our readings, we look at books 1 and 2 of the Analects. The main objective of Confucius' teachings was to live with integrity. Book 1 introduces many of the main ideas in the Confucian philosophy. The gentleman, or ideal person, appears in the beginning of the text, and the concepts of filial piety, which describes that children must respect their parents, ancestors, and authority figures. One of a gentleman's primary goals is achieving humanness, ren or gen, or goodness, which also relates to ritual. Ritual helps support the practice of humanness by behaving in certain situations with courtesy, respect, and honor. Other important qualities of personal conduct are also explored, including loyalty, good faith, trustworthiness, and a willingness to correct one's mistakes. Book 2 deals largely with issues of governments, as well as the main focus of how people should live virtuously, or with high moral standards, and how one should develop and conduct themselves. Confucius explains that a virtuous government should serve as a guide to his people, similar to how the North Star guides travelers. Chapter 4 is thought to be one of the most famous chapters, in which the master uses his life to illustrate that internalizing Confucian ideals takes a lifetime of learning and effort, and he explains that both study and thinking are important in achieving this. True understanding is recognizing what you do and don't understand, as well as changing oneself internally, is important and most difficult part. Next, I'll answer a few questions about what these ideas mean to me. The two main ideas that contributed to my understanding of the culture, values, and society was that of two basic principles Confucius believed people should conduct their lives. These principles were gen, or concern for others, and li, or appropriate behavior. Confucius really stressed the importance of gen. It is cherished more than life itself. The man of gen will sacrifice his life to preserve it, and basically it is what makes life worth living. It is a feeling of humanity towards others and self-esteem for yourself. And that feeling applies to all, not just one nation or race. It is the foundation of all human relationships. Li has two basic meanings. The first is a concrete guide to human relationships, and two, a general principle of social order. Confucius recognized that you need a well-ordered society for gen to be expressed. Confucius argued that society would function best if everyone followed gen and li. Everyone has a specific role to play in society, and order was maintained when people knew their place and behaved accordingly. Doing the right thing for the right reason is key, otherwise gen and li won't work. The gentleman, or chunzu, is another central term in the Analects. The gentleman is one who follows the way, also known as Tao, and acts according to a system of morals and beliefs that are not common amongst other individuals. The book introduces an important quality of a gentleman, which illustrates an underlying principle in Confucian philosophy of focusing on improving oneself instead of dwelling on what's on the outside. Another big idea that contributed to my understanding of the society is that one should respect their elders, and also the best kind of leader was one that could rule by good moral example. For most people, our careers and jobs take up over 50% of our lives. So from book 1 of the Analects, 1.16, contributes to my understanding of our culture and the values I place at work. Just because someone isn't around or doesn't physically see something good you did, doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. This could apply anywhere, not just at work. On the other hand, it's also important to let someone know when you've noticed them doing a good job or when they went above and beyond their normal tasks. If we're only pointing out the mistakes, it's difficult for someone to feel appreciated or give them incentive to grow. This idea also relates to doing the right thing for the right reason. Doing the right thing should just come naturally, in my opinion. There shouldn't have to be a reward in order to want to do the right thing. One thing I truly believe is in accepting or admitting when you don't know or understand something. It is okay not to know something. It is okay to let someone know if you need to do more research on that topic or question. And I absolutely agree that working on improving on yourself internally will take a lifetime and beyond. The concept of gen is a great tool to live by, but more importantly, that it's not just applied to one nation or race, but to all. It's so disturbing that in 2019 we're still dealing with racism, hate crimes, discrimination, the list goes on. I also find in today's society we have strayed, unfortunately, from filial piety. Many youth today talk back, lack manners and respect for their parents, grandparents, teachers, and authority figures. I think part of it has to do with the difference in discipline between now and then. Many parents have difference in opinions about what is appropriate punishment for their children or lack thereof. Yes, I would recommend this reading to others. I think a lot of people confuse Confucianism for a religion, but it's a philosophy, it's a way of life. Imagine if we all read one teaching a day and tried to apply it to our lives. Maybe not every single one can relate to our society today, but if we look at the bigger picture, living in a world of peace and harmony doesn't have to be this impossible thought. It says a lot that even today, Confucianism is still being practiced in China, Korea, Vietnam, and Taiwan. We all have bad days, but we should all strive for humanness, to be good people.